Karani, chairman of this institute. We are actually the first elected council members since the inception of Kenya Institute of Supplies Management in 2004. So ours in January 10 this year were the very first elections that were held since the institute was formed. So they were, in every sense of the word, very historical. And so we have a mantra that I say, we are in a hurry because we are on a journey, and we're in a hurry because we are 13 years behind schedule in delivering the mandate that our members elected us for. So in a nutshell, that's John Karani. My role as chairman is really giving oversight to this institute, strategic direction, and more importantly, making sure that this institute addresses the needs of our members, becoming a member-driven institute, which are three-pronged. Three-pronged in the sense of we are both a regulator, which in that regulatory role is two-pronged. It's called registration piece, which is basically the basis of getting our members together. And the second piece of that regulatory role is called disciplinary role. That disciplinary role means basically entrenching the culture of integrity in the supply chain profession. And the third role that we do as KISM is welfare, membership welfare. So in a nutshell, those are the three roles that we do as an institute: membership registration, membership discipline, and membership welfare. So KISM is basically the vehicle for delivering that three-pronged mandate to our members and an extension of the government as a regulator of this profession.
Excellent. So what has been the role of KISM in enlightening Kenyans, especially now during the pandemic?
So the pandemic, I think, thrust the whole role of supply chain into the epicenter of action, because for the first time, supply chain became the centerpiece of action. For the first time, everything revolves around supply chain, whether it is getting the vegetables from the market, from the farm to the supermarket, whether it's that guy in Kikomba getting clothing, or whether it's KEMSA getting the supplies of medical equipment from wherever they have to get them into Kenya and then distributing to the needs. So the role of supply chain has been amplified in the very sense of the word with this pandemic, because everything is supply chain. Everything and supply chain, for your understanding, is basically the end-to-end process of identifying the needs of the institution, identifying the suppliers, and now going into the marketplace to source for the best or most effective source of supply, and getting those goods into the institution and now distributing them. That is supply chain on one. So the pandemic has basically really amplified the role of supply chain and put it at the center stage. And even those people who never knew about the importance of supply chain have seen the crucial need that supply chain plays in ensuring we deliver value and deliver services to our members and to the government in that sense. So COVID has actually amplified our role more than any other pandemic. In a sense, it has been a blessing for us. In this much has been a tragic thing, but it has made sure the role of supply chain cannot be ignored anymore. And the institutions who ignore procurement and supply chain do so at their own peril. So I think we need to build on that to ensure that we entrench best practice supply chain in the organization of superstructure. Yes.
It's good that you've mentioned best practice in supply chain. So kindly tell us what steps you've taken as an organization to ensure that there's transparency in the institute process.
Okay. So for us as an institute, the electoral process itself is the very basis of ensuring transparency, because the election of members was done by an open, transparent process where members were told what we stand for as a people, as my team that was campaigning at that time. And so we went to our members and told them, this is what we stand for. We sold a manifesto, a 7-point manifesto in our campaigns. And the electoral process, which was managed by IEBC, is basically the reason we went to IEBC. We didn't need to, but we had to look at who have the infrastructure to deliver a credible, transparent, and believable electoral process. And so we actually went and sourced several people before we settled for IEBC to deliver a very credible, transparent, and trustworthy mechanism in terms of electoral process. That is crucial, because when you get the right process for electing your leaders, that is verifiable, that is believable, that is that's got integrity in it, you set the stage for transparency. And so for us it was crucial that the electoral process is anchored on a believable process, on a process that our members can believe. And we ensure that happened. We went through quite some challenges, but I can tell you IEBC delivered a transparent electoral process. And that was the beginning of what we do. Thereafter, we have gone through a process of building the institution and then making sure we involve our members in the running of the institution by co-opting members in task forces and in committees. That was also a very transparent process. We did not sit at in our office and crafted our cronies into committees. We sent out the applications for our members to apply, set out the criteria, and then went through the process of interviewing them in a very open, transparent process. And there were literally hundreds of members who applied to be part of our committees, and we only needed about 30-something total, about 15 in total membership from our members to be part of the committee. So that process was done above board, was done very openly, very transparently. All to tell you is that the idea of laying the right foundation that's anchored on transparency is so crucial, because we are the epitome of transparency. If we as an institute don't show transparent mechanisms in the way we run our business, then we run the risk of our own members not following transparent mechanisms, because we are the people who entrench, who train, who build capacity, who basically do the capacity building and training of our members. So that is the anchor, because the principles of procurement are anchored really on those things: transparency, fairness, equity, value for money, all those things. So the basis of everything we do has got to be transparency. And I think we as an institute, which basically develops professionals, trains professionals, have led by example, by showing that everything we do is above board, and our members can validate that. Yes.
That's a very high note to end that question, because I'm about to get to the very interesting KISEM Awards, and congratulations for, as an organization, being able to host an event, a mega event, in the wake of a pandemic and with all the restrictions and social distancing rules. So tell us about the event and the qualities or the attributes that you are looking for organization, and how you're able to select your winners.
So I personally believe that the team, and I do not take that credit by the way, we had a team running the awards, and I have told them this time and again, that they actually delivered what I want to call a mission impossible. Mission impossible in the sense that here we were 1 month ago, to be precise, in November, and first week of November, I challenge you. We should not close this year just like this. We need to close this year on a high note. And the team did not give excuses. They went to work and set out their own calendar in the sense of how can we deliver these awards these excellence awards, because it's the first time we're also doing this, as I said earlier on. Kissing is 13 years behind schedule. We have so many things to do. And the epitome or the necessity for those awards was really to amplify the great work that we procurement professionals do within our spheres of influence. We have not been celebrated enough. More importantly, we've not told our story the way we should. We have left the narrative of procurement and supply chain to be told by forces outside our institute, our profession. And so the essence of actually having those awards was saying, procurement people, supply chain people do great work every day, everywhere. But the things that get amplified in the media is the few negative things that happen. And we never deny that there are rotten apples within our profession. But guess what? Our challenge has been the few small things that happen and are being over-amplified above the many things that our professionals do. And so for us it was saying, you know, if we wait for other people to tell our story, they will hijack the narrative. And so we needed to take ownership and we created our own platform. We said we have a platform because we have an honorable profession, we have a good profession. We actually have a great profession that adds value to, transforms lives, transforms nations if we do it correctly. So the challenge I gave to my team is that how can we create this platform and we use it to actually tell our story, amplify our story. And we had a small budget. When the pandemic caused our sources of revenue to be very, stifled. And so we needed to be very creative in the way we did it. And we used our members, our volunteer members. Actually, we didn't use them, they volunteered to be part and parcel of this journey of creating and delivering these awards. When you think of other, more seasoned institutions like the Marketing Society of Kenya, they go in a very big way to do this work. We do not have that luxury, both in terms of time and in terms of resources. And I'm saying all this to tell you that the labor of sacrifice, the labor of commitment, the labor of literally giving of themselves, of the people that headed this team. One of my council members, Nimo Hussein, is the one who was the chair who led the team that was also led by now co-opted members that came into, who are not part of the council, but they are membership that says, yes, we want to stand up and be counted. There was Priscilla Mishoka, there was Faisal, there was Andrew Kiari, there was Mariam, I think there was Salome. Yeah, this is the team that actually delivered this project in record time. And one of the things, of course, that we are very grateful for is they delivered this project in a very tight budget, in a very short time, and in all measures, a very successful event, because we were very blessed to have the turnout that we got in the season of pandemic. We were very worried. We actually, at almost the last minute, I kept telling the CEO and the team, I don't want this thing to be an embarrassment. If you are sure you'll not deliver, we better cancel it. They told me, don't worry, check. They told me to. And I'm glad that I trusted them and I fully empowered them to do what they did, and they delivered. They really delivered. So, in a nutshell, I think just to the question that you said earlier on, if we had more time, we'd probably have done things better. We'll have probably developed a longer term policy in terms of awards. How do we get people? So we had to think quickly. How do we get the judges? Because that's the biggest issue around ensuring credibility. How do we get judges who are independent, who are credible, who are above reproach? Ideally, of course, we want to go and outsource that outside there. We didn't have that luxury. So we went through our membership and said, well, our members of our profession, seasoned members, people who we can vouch for in terms of their integrity. And so based on that, they were selected they're not part of the council, they're outside there. So we were able to get about 5 members of our membership, our profession, to volunteer to be part of this. And that was a very critical piece in ensuring integrity of the award scheme, so that it's not seen to be having any interference by the council or the secretariat. And I want to believe that we did a great job in that. The council, the people who did what do you call them? The award scheme, the outside people who are vetting for the winners did a great job in a very short time. And they actually went to validate the proposals that were being presented. They went to the institutions, the people that on their own accord, we just facilitated them, so that they could verify the veracity of these awards and the projects that were being mentioned. I was absolutely, I think I was actually shocked at the time we took and the depth of the presentations and the level, the extent to which they went to get the information to validate them and to ensure that these are the people that have actually won fairly and squarely, including people all the way from Mandera County, which is for me a very impressive thing, that despite the short time, they took ownership of this. They believed in this process. They believed they can actually put forward their application. And guess what? They won fairly and squarely. And I think we have a very good platform to build on now for the future. And we have more time, longer time, where we can now really entrench a true continuous process of challenging ourselves to reach higher, to do better, and to amplify the voice of supply chain.
Indeed, and congratulations to all your Excellence Award winners, and of course to KISM for organizing a very successful event. And of course, we keep our hopes high and we hope for a better tomorrow in the coming year. Thank you so much for joining us for this episode, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you too, because one of the things I must tell you is that, and I thank you for being the very first media house to come to our offices to interview us, to help us tell our story, because our biggest challenge right now is how we partner with media people, media houses, to actually change the negative narrative that has been told about supply chain. The negative narrative that has been deafened our profession for too long. The negative narrative that has been told by other people other than we, the people who feel the pain, the people who do the work, the people who do a great work. So this to me is a landmark. Again, I think this year has been a year of many landmarks. And this, I want to thank you, Lolwe TV, for being that at the forefront of wanting to hear our story, because I know as we tell you our story, you will be able to retell the story in a way from a place of understanding, of knowing that procurement people are not thieves. Procurement people are professionals. Procurement people are people who want to do the right thing. Procurement people are people who are actually fathers and mothers and daughters and like any other person. And so when we are vilified and almost literally accused before we are accused, judged and sentenced before being heard, it truly pains. It hurts our profession. It hurts members of this profession who do a great job. The majority. It could be like in any other profession, 1% or 2% rotten apples. But that should never be taken to be the voice of supply chain. We must amplify the 99%, the voice of what we do, who transform lives, by the way. Because the roads you see here, the buildings, there is procurement in everything that happens in this country. And we want to say thank you to Lolwe TV for being part and parcel, partnering with us in changing this narrative and really making sure that the face of supply chain, the true faces of the people, the warriors that labor behind the scenes, are actually told in a way that it should be told. We are people who are here to do the right thing, to add value, to transform lives, to transform societies.
Of course, and it's our mandate as a media house to allow you to tell your story as well.
Thank you.